again to Build to Beyond, where we talk about endless possibilities. Yeah, you build and you move into endless possibilities. And this is your boy, Ayanfe Afolabi again. Uh, Today, I just want to talk about building a scalable backend with that from zero to production. And I'm going to be using what I have done as example because I don't just want to be like I'm advocating for something that is not realistic and I'm not even using it. This is something that I'm using, this is something that I'm working with, and I feel it's what we need to bring in into, like, we need to use it very well in Nigeria, especially for startups. Advocating this for startups majorly because already well structured companies do not need to start writing their backend all over again. But you are coming into the field of business and you want to build something solid. You want something that will not be expensive, and you still want something that will still give you the quality, then that is the option for you. You can build your cross platform with that. That is Flutter. With Flutter, you can build iOS, Android, you can build web, and you can even build desktop applications. Just imagine with one code base and one set of developers can do that for you. And the same thing, don't worry, you don't even need to now say I want to go and employ Node.js developer, .NET developer. Sorry, I'm not coming from any language. .NET or Python or Go, anyone. You can still stay with that to build your full stack development. Yeah, and that is very powerful. I mean, when I'm talking about building backend framework, I mean building backend in backend sense, not yeah, some people will use Firebase is wonderful. Yeah, you can use Firebase. Not I'm not talking about Firebase. I'm talking about a full architecture backend, like full fledged backend that you host, that you manage the server, that you can see logs, you can do everything that is done with .NET, everything that is done with Go, all these high level languages. You can do the same thing with that. Yes, I mean you can do literally the same thing with that. So you are not limited. Some people feel but yes, I know the use case is very low currently, and that is why we are advocating for startups to start using this because yes, it's expensive, especially like come to Nigeria, you want to start business, you have idea, you have this, but the money to employ different set of developers to maintain a full-fledged architecture, no, you don't want to build something that will not last. You want to build something that will be scalable. Yeah, and the money to get all these things is a lot. Having to manage different stacks and different people with different stacks is not easy. But with Flutter, with that, you can have, let me say, four developers all together that can manage your mobile, your backend, and still, even if you want an admin panel with the web, they can still manage it. And the funny thing is that there's no scenario where one person is on leave, another person cannot take it over. Literally, every one of them works together, understand the codes together from the beginning to the end. Yes, the backend developer might be on leave. The front-end person that builds the Android and the iOS or the web can actually go to the backend and fix things and do things for you because it's still written in that the same language. What do you think? It's wonderful. Seriously, it's still written in that the same language. The same thing with you can just the person can your backend person can quickly go and hotfix. The person that is managing the Dart Frog side can quickly go and do an hotfix in the front end, in the mobile, or even in the web or the admin panel, depending. So I feel this is something that we need to actually look into. Yes. Yeah, and why that frog? Why that frog? It's scalable, it's testable, it's clean, and it's pure dats. It's pure dats. So that frog is it's a framework that is built with dats, and it is built by Very Good Venture. We know Very Good Venture as one of the leading people that is promoting um, Flutter, and that's they work hand in hand with Google a lot, and they are one of the early adopters of the, Flutter itself. One of the people that built the first commercial based app with Flutter. So basically, they promote that frog, they built that frog, and that frog is open source. So while some people might feel, will it be sustainable, maintainable? It's open source. The community can contribute to it, and there is a lot of discussions going even to make it high level open source that can grow. You know the way Flutter has grown over the period of years and the way data has grown over the period of years. Yes, that frog can be like that. So I will be walking us through what I built with that frog, because I just don't want to be like, okay, I'm just saying this, I'm saying this, what is not really achievable, what is not, what is it that I have, like, why are we saying this, startups and this, no, it's not all about talk. I'm building something, and since last year I've been advocating for this. So let me just take us through what I'm working on. I've been working on for a while now. It's a project very, very well. It's going to be launched by God's grace. We're looking towards launching this by before the end of this year, 2025, before December. I'm looking forward to my birthday in November. My birthday is coming up November 9, and I'm looking forward to having it launched by then. And Beauty Beyond has been growing over the period. We are a registered company, a limited liability company, and we have everything we are putting everything in shape to be able to launch these products. So what is SpeakUp? SpeakUp, it's something we want to build a multi-author platform where different people can post. You can follow each other, see the posts of the post when it comes to news and stories, anything. You can follow an author, you can become a verified author, and once you're a verified author, you start making money. Yeah, you start making money from the volume of adverts that shows on your news, the total number of people that read your news, the total number of people that not just read the news, total number of people that comments, depending on the activities of your page. All these things will be bringing in revenue for you, and we are going to be paying people. Basically, the idea is, I feel university students, actually targeting university students more, where we are going to be letting people that are on campus post things about their campus, people read it and everything, and they can make small money. I know it's not easy. I know what I experienced when I was on campus. So we are trying to make life easy for students and still give them something they can work with. So basically, you see, it's something big. Yeah, by God's grace, the front end is already completed. We are currently working on the back end, and the back end is built with that frog. I'm going to be walking us through the code of the back end. Yeah, yes, I'm going to be walking us through the code of the back end and make us see what we can do. So basically, I've completed the authentication for backend. The basic, you see now, you log in, sign up here, and create accounts. Immediately the account is created, we tend to now select the country you're coming from, pick the category, follow, enable notifications that you want to see, and then you create a public profile. This is the publisher account per se. This is where you create your publisher account, and then let's go, you're all set. And you can log in. Either you log in as anonymous, log in with Google, log in with Apple, log in with Facebook, with Twitter, sign in with your password, or you sign up. So when you sign in with your password, and again we have an anonymous login, we put that there. In the platform mainly, we put anonymous login there, so you can log in as anonymous. And then you see the page, the news section, and we are going to making it offline first. That's one of the things we have in mind. The news section, then you can see notifications, recent stories. This is the news, and we are going to be using a different style entirely. We are picking idea from WordPress, this blog builder. We are going to be using that for in Flutter here, and you see comments, updates, everything. Just basically, this is what we are trying to achieve. This is what we are trying to achieve, and it's a whole lot. And we've started since, I think, I started this November last year, and currently today we are in July. Yeah, it's been a while. It's a whole lot. It's a whole lot, and it's almost a year now that more than a year that I've started writing backend with Flutter, which that's majorly, and I've grown to understand a lot of things. Basically, how backend structure is. I'm able to relate perfectly well now with backend developers because I know what they are doing. Yes, basically, I know what they are doing, and I've been able to achieve a lot of it when it comes to that frog with it. So I've walked us through what we are building. Now a quick one, let me take us through to very good venture that frog itself. So now this is that frog. You see, it's very good venture that built. It's a minimalistic backend framework for that. And the beautiful thing about it, you know what is the most beautiful thing about Flutter? The auto reload function. Yeah, auto reload. We have it here also. Hey, yeah, you see me laughing, you see me smiling. Yes, it's because you know, I see some of my backend guys, they will want to run, especially .NET. I'm not abusing .NET now. You see, they want to test what they've done. They will now have to build the project and run it before they can see the changes. I know. Why stress? That is why we have that. You know the stress. See, yeah, automatically as you are adjusting and you are pressing your command S, is the auto reload happens immediately and you can test instantly without having to be building all over and over. No, that's the beautiful thing about it. It's lightweight, built for speed, and powered by that. Yeah, it's been a long time since I started. Let me just take us through their websites and a quick start. It's the basics majorly. You see, let me just take us to the basics. Usually routes. When it comes to routes is actually where the endpoint is. It's the endpoint itself. Basically, let me just say route slash hello. When you call it, this is what you call, and automatically it's performs the function. It's just like a folder structure. Basically, it's so simple and straightforward routes. So you see the response, return response body. So this is basically anytime you hit the command, there is a command line that you can use to. But first thing is you have to install that frog, and it's very straightforward. It's very straightforward. Just global install that frog, and where's the installation? Let's go here. Let's go back here. So the prerequisites now. This is the data SDK. You just do that pop global activates that frog CLI. Once you activate this, the that frog CLI will be there. You'll be able to use the command line to be able to create things. It will automatically work, and then you can do that frog create projects. It creates your project immediately, and that's frog dev. I'm not going to be running through. I have a tutorial which I'm preparing, which I'm going to share. I just want you to do something. Subscribe to this channel if you really want to learn how to build backend with that. So subscribe to my channel. Hit the subscribe button there and you will see. So now it's just a brief overview. I'm going to be going to my code now very soon. So this is how you just activate and then you start the server. Once the server is started, and then you can, let me just take you through the routes. So this is the routes. Once you hit the command line to create a new route, it's just folder structure actually. You don't need to stress yourself. By the time we start the tutorial in details, you will see what I'm talking about. You understand it better. So it's just once you hit create route, it creates the route automatically, and this is what will come to you. This will also come to you, and once you call the endpoint, it will automatically return hello world. So if this when you are returning body, but if you want to return JSON, it will be response.json. You see it in my code by the time I show you what I have. So you can access the context from there. The context is the request, the content of the request. Once you click request, what is coming is what you see. Then you can access the method. If it is post or get, you can determine what you want to do based on that. You can also access the header that is coming. You can access the query parameter if it is query parameter. You can also access the body. Yes, you can access the body, and you can determine what you want to do and return your response based on that. And also form data. You know what form data is, so you can also access form data and different things. You are unlimited. Like, so now this is an example of returning JSON response. So body, you return JSON response just like what is returned. So you see, and literally your knowledge in Flutter is not a waste when it comes to that work. This is the same thing you're going to be using all through. Your idea about clean architecture, everything will still be coming to that frog. Your knowledge of JSON serialization, everything that you do, the build runner, everything is pure that. It's pure that. So whatever you've been doing in Flutter with that is there. The only thing is you are not bringing the Flutter framework here where you have to be creating container UI design. That is not there. It's not here. It's just literally every other thing you do with that. Every laws that apply to that also applies here. So now another concept which is very important is middleware. So what is middleware? Backend developers already know what middleware is. So middleware and is just middleware is something that stands in the middle of your request. Now, as your request is coming, the middleware is there before the request, before the route itself, and then after the route, when it's come when you are returning response back to the front end, the middleware is also there. So there are two things. You see, it functions like the middleware is when your request is coming, it pass through the middleware, and when its response is going back to, it pass through the middleware to get to the clients. So basically, and then you can handle a lot of things in the middleware. You see from here, the middleware here gets the response, awaits the header, and then return the response. So easily, you can use this to do authentication, checking if token is valid, or maybe there's something you want to check before the clients get to the before the request even get to the backend, to the route side. So you can do all those things. And middleware is basically good for checking token, if the person is authorized to view that site or different things. So you can use middleware for stuff like that. And dependency injection is a very powerful thing. You inject your middleware into the route with dependency injection. They use provider majorly, and as we know, provider, even all the state management routes we have in Flutter, everything is still built on top provider. Block has its foundation inside provider. Riverport basically is just like an advanced provider. So talk about anything. Provider itself is what Flutter builds, and it's basically what everything is standing on. So dependency injection is used for a lot of things here, and it is what we are going to be using in most of the things we are going to be doing. I used it a lot in this project currently. You know, the idea of using get it. So get it is what I even use mostly in my projects here in that frog. Get it is going to help, like it helps you to bring in things. Now remember, when it comes to backend now, once the server starts and you host it, you need some things to be called first, not depending on the request that is coming from the clients. For now, let me explain better. Now route is here. When you come to route here, you see when the request comes, when let's say hello.route, when a request comes like that, it's calling this function itself for every client that is calling it. It is this function that is being called. But there are some things that you need that you need that you'll be needing in the actions of this route. Imagine that every time you are now initializing it in the route, it's not making sense. You can initialize it once and make it available for anyone that wants to call the function or through. So that is where dependency injection comes in, and this is very wonderful. Also, you can write tests. You can write unit tests. You can write unit tests. You can write every form of test you want to do is testable. That's the funny thing about it again. You can test your middleware also. And static file, yeah, when it comes to static file, there are times that you want to inject static files into the system, or you want to return things, you want to use image or those things. So that's where static file comes in. And finally, environmental. Yeah, now there's a slight difference between the way we inject, in Flutter. Now you can use .env to bring in environmental variable, but .env will not really work. It will just work as like, I don't know how to explain. Yeah, it can work for the local, but it won't work in the server. And it's better you use your environmental variable. Environmental variable is there. You can, whatever you are hosting, you can enter your environmental variable there, just like the way every backend does. And then you inject it, you bring it in. You can call database. And another thing, see, when I say Dashboard is powerful, it's powerful. You can use Progress. You can use any form of database, any form. If you like, if it is what you are used to, Firebase, yeah, you can use your Firebase there inside. But you can use any form of database, Progress, MySQL, anything you want. You can use any of them. So tutorials, and there are simple tutorials here on their sites that you can walk through. So I think with this, I've showed us what's something that I feel we can. So quickly, let's move to my code. Yes. Now, okay, a quick one. It's okay. All right. So yeah, I'm going to be taking us through the entering points, which is the main dot that. Yes, you know that main dot that is always the entering points when it comes to Flutter. Yes, and in that, I mean, when it comes to that, it's main dot that. So now, you see in the main dot that here, I did an init state. So when the server is coming up, this is what is first called, and this is called once. But here is called multiple times after the server has run, and then maybe at every point of auth reload, this is called over again. But if you want to do something that is called once as the server is starting, that is when it happens, then you put it inside this init. So now what happens, you see I set up my locator, which is the get it. You see I used get it here. I set up my email service, the env, which is the environmental variable. I have to get it. I create a service for it. I'm using clean architecture. I'm using a service and repository pattern, basically. So env, you see that env is there. Then initialization, cloud logger. This is me tracking and logging details. Remember, one of the main thing in backend is you log anything loggable. You'll be hearing this from backend. You say you log everything, log it. Just don't care. Log until you are tired of logging. You log, and log. So basically, that's all the logging. Another thing here, you see different other things, seeding, F, that's the local cache, the dial service. I have my email fallback and different things. I have miscellaneous repository, um, publisher repository, subscription repository, authentication repository, different things here. So let me just leave this and go back to the main dot dots. Where are you, my main dot dots? Okay. So now, so you see setup. Once this is set up, then the next thing is to do migration. When I said migration, the style I'm using for this project is database first. So I'm using a database first system. Database first, which involve me setting up my database. Sorry, I said database first, code first, actually. So there are different systems that people follow. You see, some people follow database first, that they will go and create the tables in the database, and then they will now come to the code and undo it. But whereas me, I write a migration code. It's a code first system. And by the time I run the code, it will go and create the database itself. So now you see runner is migration runner, logger, I get the logger, and then run migration. So basically what happened in this run migration is it calls the migration table here. Let me take you to the table. Close the lib. The migration is in the public. That's where I'm talking about static file the other time. Remember I mentioned static file. Yeah. So this is what we do. This is the static files. I have my country, the UI design. If you remember, we have list of countries. Where is it? Let me take you there to sign up. You see, we have list of countries. So you see, countries table. I have my table here. A quick information. I'm using progress. I'm using progress. So you see news, categories, notification list, table, publishers, this and this and this. You see all these things is there. So basically, this is the migration tables that is going to create automatically by itself. So quick one. Let me go to so it runs the migration and it creates all the table, and the log is logging it also. I'm going to start and you see the logs. Once I start the server, you see the logs, but let me just explain all through before you see. So await seeding. Now, what is seeding? I've explained what migration is. Migration is where the tables are created and the necessary things that are needed for the server to run properly are created. So that is where this run migration is. Then seeding is, there are some tables that you need to pre-fill information that are there before. So that's where seeding is. Seed all. So you see here, it's database open connection, and then env, it has gotten the details. So now you see seed countries, seed categories, seed news categories, seed news notification list table. And once it has done all those things, these are the functions there. Seed news categories, seed notification table, these are the functions that is being called. So once it's seed and it does all those things finish, let's go back to the main dot dots. Then I start my background job. You are surprised. Okay, so the background job is here. If I need to run some background job, so the background job I'm doing here is I'm deleting OTP that are stored on the database that are not needed, instead of making the database to be bulky over and over. Some OTPs are not needed again, so I clear them. So that's what this cron job is doing. So any other cron job you want to do, maybe you want to send notification for somebody. Do you now understand what I mean? You can build a well-structured backend with that frog. So you want to send notification for birthday at the time of birthday, you want to do this, any action you want to perform, you can run the cron job automatically. So that's cron job. So once all those things have started completely, then you see, the ports, so if it is what's the name, if it is hosted, if you are coming from your server, it's going to get the ports from the environmental variable. But if not, if it is local, it's going to use 8080, which is the default port that comes with that frog that it works with. You can also set your own dependent. So basically this is where everything is. So I'm going to be showing us the routes now. You see, API is just a folder. That's why I mentioned the other time, it's folder structure. So depending on how you want to structure it. So let me quickly open my Postman so that you see what's the works we've done thus far and where we've gotten to. And I'll be able to code the endpoints for you. It's just to show you what I have done. It's not anything. This is not a tutorial. And we are going to do a tutorial on that frog later. But I just want to water your mind so that you can subscribe to my channel and you can also partake in the tutorial. It's going to be free of charge. I'm not going to charge anyone, but you are going to subscribe, Abby, to encourage me. All right. So quick one. You see, these are the endpoints that have been created already, the general all countries. So let me quickly start the server. So I'll just walk you through a few of them, not everything. So let's start the server. Oh, you'll be like, where's my database here? I'm using Progress. This is the Progress PG admin 4. Okay. I'm using PG admin 4. So, okay, my Progress is opening. It's trying to open. It's not necessary I have to, don't worry, it's my, everything is in my laptop, so it's going to start automatically. So I'm using my, okay. So the PG admin 4 is coming up. Alright, so while that one is coming up, it's not necessary it has to come up before I do my work though. So let me just start this server here. Server now, just like we come from here, so let's start the server. As I told you the other time, I'm using PG admin Progress. So you can see Progress 17, the database is Progress. I'm just trying to show you this, although this one does not have anything to do with the data. I just want to show you how you can manage the table directly. This is another course on its own where you learn database, where you learn how to cut table, manage table, how to create relationships, all those things. There are things that you need to learn along the line when you're trying to build a well-structured database. So that's just by the way for you. This is your PG admin 4. Leaving that one aside, let's start the server now. So we are starting the server. We are going to be okay. Let's see. It's loading because All right, the server is still starting. Okay, it has completed. So now the server has started. Here you can see news, categories, seeding, everything. The seeding, the migration, all migration applied successfully. So all the tables that needs to be created, the ones that are there. But if it has created, it skips. So the way the table is written, okay, I can do what reload there. Welcome to that frog. Leaving this on that side. The way the table is done, you can see from here, migration table. It's already there before. So if there is any table that needs to be okay, so quick one is loading there. Okay, so you see all the tables, table 1, table 2, table 3. So once this table has been done, it will skip it. So that's just the way it's, this one is just to manage, to check the table. You see this is the category, the countries, the user table, everything basically. So and the seeding also is completed as seeded and everything. So that's where it's come. So we are talking about before I was bringing us into all countries. I explained the folder, the general, the countries basically. So you see, I'm just going to show 2 or 3 before we end the video. And if you have questions or you want us to build something together, you can always reach out to me. My contact details and is in the description below. You can always reach out to me. You can talk to me. We can build something together, and I can train you on this if it is needed. So basically, let's continue. So let me call the endpoints first. Or get our countries. Okay. You see, it's super fast. It happened within 20, 80, 83 milliseconds. Although it might be longer if it is in server. But however, because it's in local now, 67 milliseconds, 54 milliseconds, 52 milliseconds. So that's to tell you how fast it is. It brings out all the country that I've written. Let's go to category to see what's there. See, 56 milliseconds. Let's go to notifications to see what is in notifications. Okay. Don't mind my network. So while that is loading, let me just take us through the call for the countries. Now you see, when it's eating the endpoints first, the first thing we check is request method. Is it gets? So if it is gets, then we do the action. But if it is not gets, it returns method not allowed. For example, now it's not saved. Leaving that one aside. So let's come here. Let's see. For example, now this is get. Let me change it to post. See, method not allowed. But now that it is gets, you see what happened immediately. So it returned the response. So now that it is get, you see cloud loader. Now this cloud loader, cloud logger is the one that is logging all these things you are seeing. Fetch, about to fetch countries from the DB, all these things, using cache to send memory country. Yeah. So again, there are sometimes it's only the first time of calling this that it fetches this thing from the database, and then it cache the data. And then by the time another person is calling it, instead of it going to the database to create another connection loop, it's going to use the local stored on the server, the cache memory, and share it with us immediately. The cache memory expires after 20, 30 minutes, and it fetches again, so that there will always be, at least within that 30 minutes frame, anybody that is calling that endpoint will be getting the one that the first person called. So that's just what is happening for data that are not changing like this. We cache the response. So connection. So this is the database connection, and this is done from the middleware. So you see, I've mentioned middleware before. You see, this is middleware. Middleware, we create a database connection, we open endpoints, database connection, and then we pass it to the request body. Then after the request body is done, we return the response to the front end, and then we close the database connection, because there is limits to the concurrent connection that can be happening at a time. So for a particular request, we close the database connection after we've opened, we've performed our action, then we close the database connection. Then after we've closed the database connection, we return the response back to the front end. So that's what is happening in the middleware. So the middleware, before the response gets to the we've opened the database connection, and then after the action is, we return the connection to the request. Then after the action is performed, we await the response. After getting the response, then we close the database connection, then we return the response. As simple as that. So that's the middleware that is giving us this connection. Then we have the miscellaneous service, because I remember I told us that we are doing a service repository system. So let's go to the implementation. So this is where the service implementation is get all countries. Basically, this, if we are trying to use try to check the cache. If the cache is no, that is, there's nothing stored or the cache has expired, because this getting cache is checking if the information has expired. If I take you to the code, you'll see. But if it has not expired, if it has expired or there's nothing stored in the cache, then if it's not no, that is, there's something stored in the cache, I return the response with the cache response straight. But if it is not, that is, if you didn't fulfill this block, it won't perform this action, then move here. Then making database connection. The miscellaneous repository is where the connection to the database is actually happening. So the implementation, you see. So this is where the query, get all countries. The query is, this is the query to query from the database, and then return to map to list. See, it's basically that. And then that is where the action is coming from, service implementation here. So you get all the countries, about to make database connection, get all the countries. Then after getting it, first thing I did is to I cache the response I got, which is here, and I set the time it will expire. Then the next thing is to return it to the front end. So now, to maintain a uniform structure, there's a way I'm returning response to the front end. Response and the front, anytime I want to return response to the front end, follow this system. You see, request status code, message, data, app ID, and error. So that the date and the front end, imagine now, the backend has a way of returning response, the front end has a way of handling it. So there will be uniformity, there won't be issue. So that's basically what we are trying to do here. You see. Okay, let me close this and then take us back. So you see, I return response to the front end. Now, if there is exception, like a database exception, there are a lot of custom exception I've created. So if it is database exception that is here, the next thing that I do is to log. See this log error. You see it says an error and information, and then return the response. So there's no way. Like I wonder why you are working, your backend developer will be returning internal server error without any response for you. No, it's not done. So internal server error, even if there's internal server error, which is 500, the database error, the message will come. It will come in this way. So your frontend will know what to do and what to display. Do you get? Another thing is catch. Now the catch now is if there's an issue at all that I don't know. I don't even know what caused it. There's a break anywhere somewhere. It returns internal server error, yes, but with message and then a detailed response in the error. So the front end will be able to know, and it will also help in debugging. Generally, that's just it. So this is the one. This is the repository for us, the service for get all countries. You see, get all news categories. There are different ones there. Get all notifications. Basically, you see everything there. So I won't waste too much time again because we've taken a lot of time. And finally, I don't know, notification here is not there. So let me just take us to login. So you see login and login here. So you see the token. This is the token. So basically, there are some endpoints here that requires like an account get profile. I don't know if this is saved successfully. So there are some of these data here that requires you to pass token. So like here, for example, here now, let's try it. See, it's going to tell you invalid token. Yeah, it's invalid token because the token is not valid any longer. So now from the login I did here, I can copy this token. And then take it to, where is it? What is it that we tried the other time? Valid token, yeah. Okay. The header, the parameter. Okay. So now let's pass the header authorization. So normally our header is supposed to be the bearer token. Then let me just create a new one. This is surprising because I thought I stored all those endpoint I've created before. All right. Okay. So the bearer token, the token is here. So the token, if I try this token now, see, it has expired. So now let me change the token to the new one. Ta-da! So you see, so what this is doing here is just trying to subscribe to the list of categories and successful. So let me just take us through the endpoints that is doing that action there. So let's go back to routes, accounts. General does not. Now you notice something. The middleware is connected to the folder itself. So this middleware, which is the connection middleware that is doing the database connection, is connected to which folder? You see, the API folder automatically. So every endpoint will have access to it. But there are some certain things that you don't want. For example, now for this one, this publisher, not publisher now, yeah, the publisher, there's a middleware here. Then another thing is profile auths, there's no middleware in this one. So the accounts, this accounts folder, there's a middleware there. So this middleware is the one that is handling the token. So this verified token, verify header token, this is where I'm saving all my new middlewares. So it picks the authorization and switch the bearer, decode it, and see if token is not there, it returns missing or invalid token header. And then if token is there, it picks the token, JWT verify the token, and picks the user details that is from the token, then return it. So if the token, as is verifying, if the token is invalid, it returns invalid token and it breaks. But if the token is valid, that is it works. Because you see, it shall throws exception. So if the token is not valid, what happens is it returns a user table which I've created, ID and email. It returns the ID and it passes it to updates it to the context. So automatically we can have it in the front end here. So now let me just take us through the routes again. So the routes again. Oh, sorry, it's been a long lecture. It's not lecture per se. I'm just showing us what I've done. So interest. All right. Interest. So now you see context, logger, connection, subscription. So now you see user. I'm getting the user automatically from the context because it's already passed. So context the user, which is from the token. So the token middleware is handling everything about the type of user it is, everything. So the thing that is just passed to the route is the user. and I'm able to pick the user details, the user ID and the email to be able to perform the action. So if it is get and if it is post, or if not, if it is not get and post, return method not allowed. But if it is guest, we are getting all the details here. So just like this one, let me just switch it to get. You see that what it will return is different. These are the things subscribe to. But let's go back to post. It's going to do something else, which is subscribe the person. So you see user ID. I didn't pass user ID, right? Yeah, but the user ID is gotten from the token. Do you get? So that's it. It's lovely, right? So you see from there the logger connection, subscription service. This from the service. No, I told you that we are using repository and service layer. So the repository is one that connects to the database, query, get the response, and return. And the service layer, that's where we perform the action and everything. Then we return. You see, lots of things are not happening here. So your code is readable and well structured. So I'm just showing you the few things I've done. We've done a lot. We've done notification, we've done profile, we've done publisher, we've done so many things, verification. So it depends. These are all the endpoints that we've created thus far. And money must still to come. So what am I trying to say in essence is, you see that this is not just a washy thing. It's a scalable, full-fledged backend, which you can host it anywhere. So let me give you different hosting options that we have. Deploy. You can deploy to Cloud Run. You can deploy to App Runner. You can deploy to DigitalOcean. Literally, let me just put it that this way. You can deploy to any cloud hosting, and what you just need is a Docker file. So now use the Docker. I've written a Docker thing for here already. So this is what the server is going to look for, and it's going to run it. So you can actually install anywhere. The Docker file is going to handle everything. So I think with this few point of mine, you can subscribe. Please, I'm begging you, subscribe to my channel, like, comment. Let me see your opinion. What do you think about it? Do you believe that frog can actually be something startups can employ? Or what do you think about that frog? Is it making sense? Is that as a full stack making sense? What do you feel about it? What's your opinion? I want to hear your opinion. I want to hear what you think, and I want to see how we can both make things better. Till we meet again, we are going to be doing videos on tutorials. So please subscribe and subscribe so that you can always get notification. Turn on the notification bell so that you can always get notification for the tutorials that will be dropping on that frog. Thank you very much, and see you very soon.